Hey, how's it going? It's Rocky. It's currently 11:57 on Monday, March 25th in the year 2024. Basically, I had a Globex trade for the past 2 hours. As you can see here, blue is my entry. And let me just make that mark so you can see where that is. So I made my entry here. Entry was 7:32 and underwater for a significant amount of time, as you can see right here. So we were pretty much underwater on this side, and then thankfully we were above water and we were ready to exit. You can see here that would have been plus 20 points on the profit that we had, but unfortunate thing occurred while I was moving my stop. You can see here there was a significant wick that occurred, which pretty much topped me out. Basically, I moved my stop into profit, and then somehow, this ridiculous wick just took out my stop on a 1-minute candle, and because of it, I missed out on this potential move that would have occurred up here of plus 20 points, but it's okay. I do have a recording of trading after this that I wanted to share. I wanted to share an example of the trade copier and how it works. Unfortunately, you'll see the ending there was pretty bizarre. I was trying to understand what happened. It was not the trade copier's fault. It's just the reality of trading with the wicks sometime during Globex. It's low volume when you're trading. As you can see here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the volume so far is 5,973, which is pretty little. And then if you look up here on the volume number, and I'm gonna move the mouse, when I got stopped out, the volume is about 177, and the previously to that volume is about 20 or so. So pretty low volume during the Globex normally. But yeah, I have a recording here. I'm going to speed up the parts that doesn't move as much, and right now I'm having, of course, a little bit of FOMO from what's happening. It's now the top of the hour. There's more volatility, there's more movement, and it's just how it is sometimes. So I'll let that be. I'm not going to chase, and I'm going to call it a night, but hopefully you enjoyed the recording that I made to see the trade copier in action, where I'm trading multiple accounts, 23 accounts to be exact, 20 with Apex. One of it is a PA, 19 is eval, and then another have one with Top Step, and then another one with Trade Day. So I guess a total of 22, not 23. All right, enjoy. And just a quick disclaimer before you watch all of this. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only, and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. How's it going? So this is a recording of a live trading that I'm doing. It is currently March 25th, 2024 on Monday. It's about 10:49 p.m. in the Pacific Coast. So right now, it's what's referred to as Globex. Currently, the Asian hours right now is trading, and you'll have the EU opening in about 2 hours or so. And I just wanted to pretty much record the trade copier so you can see me copying with multiple accounts and how it works. And I decided to do it on a Globex because the market is a lot slower, so I'm able to do this. And again, just as a reminder, this is a recording of a live trading, so I will never stream this live because you could get to a lot of trouble by doing that. So what we have here is NinjaTrader. And basically on this NinjaTrader account, you can see that I have multiple accounts. And on these multiple accounts, essentially, it's a combination of 3 prop firms, which I refer to as funding firms. From this, you can see about 20 of the accounts right here is Apex. So 19 of them are evals, and I have one PA right here. And then one is also a Top Step account, which is this one right here. and I recently started one with Trade Day as well, which is right here. They had a promo for March Madness, so I decided to check it out, and I also like the rules they have as far as the payout goes, so wanted to give it a shot. And of course, I'm just including my live account here, even though the balance is 0. I have no money on there, but it's just a way for me to show my name in there, and so no one tries to copy any of my screenshots or anything like that. So now that I did that overview on that account, so that's a total of 22 accounts. So 20 total Apex, 1 from Top Step and 1 from Trade Day. Now let's go back to the existing trade that I do have. And again, you know, my main reason for recording this is just to show how the trade copier works. You can see here I have one position that I'm in, well, one contract, just one contract that I traded with. So you can see right here the average is at 39,732, and every time I trade, as I mentioned, I have a limit up here. So that limit is about 50 points, and I have a stop loss that's about 60 points in the bottom here. So this stop loss right here is what I normally refer to as my max risk. So I let the trade go. I try not to add anything to average down. I just let it be. And, you know, if it was a bad entry and it took my max loss, then let it be, right? And when I'm into profit, I usually move my stop loss up to, you know, if there are some profits are being shown. Right now, you can see the trade is negative. It's at negative $5. I'm showing it on the chart section here. If you like to use the DOM, I have the super DOM in the middle here. This is one way too. However, with this super DOM, you're not able to drag your limits on the DOM itself. So that's why I have the chart on the left, so I can drag the limit and the stops. And then just some exercises I wanted to point out when I trade. I have this screen on the right here. The reason for this is just a reminder to myself. You know, my limit is at 39,782, and then my stop is at 39,672. And what else can we show you? Another one, when I trade, I normally, let me just get rid of some of that markings. So when I trade, I normally have it on the position tab. So this positions tab is a quick way for me to see what open trades I have, and, you know, make my decisions from there. You can see, you know, what my average price is. So average price is on this column right here. And then you can see that for one of my accounts, the Top Step account, I am trading that with 2 accounts. So I did a 2x in the trade copier. So when I entered 1 with my lead account, it did 2 times on the Top Step account. And the reason I'm trading 2 of those is because my rebuild date is coming up in about a week. So I can look at it 2 ways, where, you know, push hard on it, and then if I failed, I'm going to be rebuild next week anyway, so it starts all over. Or if somehow I pass before then at least I won't need to pay the rebuild date, and I would just pay the activation fee to change from a Top Step Combine to a Top Step XFA. Anyway, just the overview of how this thing works, and I will just keep this going just so you can see what it's like. And hopefully when we're in a bit of a profit, I can show you how I try to exit the trade. So yeah, I'm just going to run this through and speed it up, so you'll sort of see that in the background, and I'll come back and talk about it when I try to move my stop into profit, and we'll see how this thing works. All right, so we're about 15 minutes in our trading. It's now 11:05 p.m. and you can see that we are currently underwater on the trade. For each account, it's about down about $25 or so, which can be scary when you're watching it, especially if you're trade copying, right? Because you have 20 accounts. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, before the trade, I've already set up what my max risk is and what my potential limit is on the profit that we're going to take. So it's all, even though it's underwater and that can be nerve-wracking, just remind yourself that you already set your max risk. So this is acceptable within these limits. And if somehow you're wrong, then you're wrong. It's just important to really just accept your loss. What's important is what happens after that, right? Do you revenge trade or whatnot? And with this one, as I mentioned, I try not to add to any of my losers. So I try not to average down. It used to be a habit a lot that I have where I would try to average down. But for this one, I'm not going to average down unless I see something on the chart where it's starting to trend up and we're still underwater. Then that's when I'll add a position. Or even when we're in profit and we're actually trending up, then that's when I would add another position while in profit as well. For as of right now, again, it's underwater. Now it's down about $40 or so per account. So I'll just keep this running. We are at the 15-minute mark since I started recording, and I'll speed it up again to the next important point that we'll have. Hopefully in profit, or if we're close to the max risk, then I'll start adding my comments onto that one as well. So right now it's looking like a bad entry, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. All right, enjoy, and I'll keep this going a bit more. So that alert you just heard is my break-even alert. I have that going on the background with Thinkorswim. And you can look at the time. We are now at 11:32 p.m. So this is about 40 minutes or so since we started recording. It shows you how slow Globex can be. And it's it's not for someone who's impatient. Definitely someone that this type of trading is definitely meant for someone who's a bit more patient. And I think it's perfect for someone where if you had a 9 to 5 during the US hours, then during the Globex time, you can do this right on the side. When I trade the Globex normally, I'm not just focused on the charts. It's actually a time, it's a productivity time for me. I'm either online, researching and doing things I need to do, or maybe just watch a movie. Time to play games. Sometimes I try to read a book as well. So this is just something I have on the background, and we'll keep this rolling some more again. Again, we are around the 40-minute mark of recording it. We finally back to green. So you can see, right, we were underwater a lot, which could make someone nervous to be underwater. But as I mentioned, if coming in you already knew what your max risk is, then it's within the plan. So it shouldn't be something that you should sweat. So I'll again keep this rolling. I do have an alert at plus 10 points. At that point, hopefully we can make some adjustment to our bracket that we have. But for now, we'll see how this goes. So I'll keep recording, and hopefully you like what I'm showing here. And as a reminder again, right, this is a live recording, and it's a recap. I would never live stream myself trading. So it's all here. And please, if you haven't subscribed, now's your opportunity to do so, and give me some feedback on the comment section if this type of content is helpful for you, because it does take a lot of time to be able to do this. And I do have an older computer, so that's why I try not to do this too often, because it's difficult to have all these programs running in the background and recording at the same time. But I will be back when we're ready to exit, or we have some significant updates. All right, so that alert you heard is the plus 10 points mark. So our entry was at 32, it hit 42. So the alert is to let me know that, hey, check it out if it's time to exit or not. And basically, we've been recording this almost an hour now. We are at 11:50 p.m. I started the recording about 10:50 p.m. And with this one, we're about 10 minutes to the top of the hour. So getting close to the EU Open, where there's usually a lot of volatility that occurs. And I just want to normally protect the profits that I already have. I'm also getting kind of sleepy. Time for bedtime soon. So what I'm going to do is on the limit on the left here, you can see it's currently at 39,782. I'm going to bring that down to about 52 or so. And you see that, it moved there. So we're aiming for a profit of $100 if somehow it hits that. And then basically I have an ATM strategy on here where automatically my stop loss will adjust after a certain amount of profit. But just for this example, I'm just going to show you how I'm going to manually move my stop. So right now it's at 39,672. We're going to move that into, let's just say 37. Okay. So now at this point, you can see that no matter what happens, I am locking in about $25. And you can probably say, there's a lot of ways, right? You can say, all right, if you're ready to exit, why don't you just take the $50? Yep, that's a valid point. I could just take the $50 and exit. Another one that you could probably say is, hey, why don't you bring your limit down closer so you can exit? And I don't know what just happened there, which is weird. Huh. That is quite weird that exited, actually. Let's see what happens. And I guess
order canceled.
I guess I'm kind of glad that I was recording that, because that does not make any sense. So I'm going to look at my execution here. Hide my account number. And basically it exited at 39,734, which doesn't make sense because I know what happened, which is kind of unfortunate on that little example. So I'm going to change this chart to 1 minute. And from this 1 minute, you can see what happened with this wick right here. You can see that there was a wick that occurred and it dropped it all the way down to 34, which is really unfortunate. And you can see now that it's still going up. So this is a little frustrating how that happened. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you. So what happened was, you know how I moved my stop above 32, which was my entry. I think I put it around 37, and then this wick somehow just took out all of my profit, and it was just such a drastic move. It took it all the way down to 34, so it only locked in 2 profits. So if we look at our account, really all that work, we locked in $6.90. So yeah, that was not the trade copier's fault. That's just the reality of trading with high wicks sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty unfortunate how that worked out, but it's a good example, I guess, to show, right? That's definitely too bad. That's definitely too bad. So got unlucky there. It just happens. That just happens when you trade, and it's just a lot more difficult during the Globex time, where the volume is really low. And yeah, that's what happened there. Anyway, hope you appreciate that recording that I did. It didn't turn out nicely, but you saw the reality of what could happen when you're trading. That's why risk management is so important.